What is up, everybody, and welcome to the Lineup HQ for NBA Showdown. We're just going to talk through some players for tonight's Dallas Golden State NBA Showdown game. And, prizes are big enough to where I figure there might be some people out there with some interest in and a little bit of content here to close off the NBA season. We're coming down now. It's nothing but showdowns, or there's actually two game slates right now. If you want to play 2 days, if you want to do them 2 days out, you can get in on Golden State tonight and Boston tomorrow. But we're just covering showdown action here. So joined by Squirrelpatrol today. And John, how's the are you still fully invested in the NBA right now?
Going back and forth. I mean, it's tough with baseball, but yeah, like we're kind of squeezing the last like juice from the fruit of the NBA season here. But it's good. I mean, we've got some big prize pools out there. I played last night. This could be the last game in this series. Golden State's already got 3 wins, so it's going to be interesting to see if they can pull off the sweep. And I mean, playoff basketball is always good. It's always good fun.
Yeah, it is fun. It's interesting, although it's definitely has to be the weirdest playoffs I've ever seen as far as guys missing games, coming back, missing games. I don't know what's going on. The blowouts at halftime are just crazy, man. But it is what it is. So we're into a game here where it's 3-0, but it's been an interesting series. I don't think Dallas was ready for the big stage here against Golden State. They had a nice little series against Phoenix. Gave them a lot of confidence. Gives a nice little boost to the future. But I don't think they were ready to take on this juggernaut right here in Golden State. So let me ask you, what have you seen in these 3 games? How do you think it's going? Is it going according to the way you thought it would go, or did you expect different?
No, I mean, I was surprised that Dallas was able to beat Phoenix, but I mean, they're clearly a good team. I mean, it's all about Luka. But Jalen Brunson looked really good in the playoffs, kind of until the series, and like Luka's just not getting enough support. And it comes into the way we're going to build these like single game lineups because we got to pick like a captain or MVP, and I think it's all going to be about Luka tonight. Like the series is in Dallas. I think Dallas is actually favored in this game despite being down 3-0. So I don't know. Like, what do you think? Like, how do you think Dallas pulls off the win here?
Yeah. It's a good question, man. I mean, the way they would pull off a win, I would think, is Golden State to kind of take it lightly and just want to go back. Like you saw Golden State, I don't know. I'm not saying it was intentional, but against Memphis when they lost by 55 or whatever that was, like that terrible game at Memphis, they kind of just weren't in it. They just kind of weren't there mentally. I could see something like that happening tonight, and Dallas takes advantage of it, and we get the old gentleman's sweep where we go back to Golden State and they finish them off in 5. But I just straight up going at it here. It's going to be tough for Dallas. It's just going to be tough for Dallas because Golden State's got a lot, too much for them. And the one thing, so we talk about Luka. He's obviously the driving force behind Dallas. And he's done well fantasy-wise these last 2 games. He's put up some big numbers, 40-plus real-life points in each, climbing up near that 70 mark in fantasy points. He's done fine, but it's at a cost to his teammates. His teammates aren't there, and they're losing these games because of it. So you got to pick your poison there, and Golden State's making the right choice.
Yeah, I agree. I think they're really shutting down everybody except Luka. And Luka's, we used to see this like the early Jordan Bulls where like teams would just let Jordan go crazy. But like if he didn't get any support, like the Bulls would still lose. And I think we're seeing the same thing where like Golden State's letting Luka get his points, but he's not getting the assists and he's not getting any support from his teammates. But it brings up an interesting strategy here because I think Luka's going to be by far the highest owned captain, by far the highest owned MVP. And I think if you maybe look at some of his teammates and say, well, maybe it's a Jalen Brunson game and Dallas pulls this one off. And I could see exactly what you're saying. Where I think Dallas could pull this game off, lose, in 5 in Golden State. But maybe, if we're looking to get a little bit different, maybe we're putting in like Jalen Brunson at the captain spot, still having Luka in our lineup because I think he's going to get the raw points we need and then filling it out from there.
All right, so let's start to talk about players and build out some shell lineups here. I wouldn't take these lineups and stick them in a contest per se, because you're probably going to be duplicated if we're building it on the show, guys. But it's just to tell you where our head's at. So I have a question for you, John. If I told you tonight Luka was going to score between 35 and 40 fantasy points on whichever site we're playing on, I said he's going to score guaranteed between 35 and 40 tonight. Are you fading him? Are you still pushing the lock button? Are you putting him in, like, what are you doing with Luka if I told you that was the case?
35. So I think that's what he scored in like game one. I don't know. I'd probably fade him. I mean, if he's going to score 35 points, he's probably not in the tournament winning lineup. But I don't know. I mean, I think that game one is his lowest like production in the playoffs so far. And I think it's unlikely he scores that little. Like, I think it's more likely he scores 35 NBA points than he scores like only 35 fantasy points.
And they actually held him to slightly less than 35. So I think it's feasible that he doesn't have a great fantasy game here because of the combination of he's taken upon himself the last couple of games to be the shooter, and that hasn't worked for him. So maybe he goes back to just facilitating. They do have a tough defender out there in Andrew Wiggins that can give him problems. So there's a lot of reason for me to think that maybe Luka doesn't live up to this major salary. And I was only wondering because even if he scores 40, you may still need him in the optimal tonight. It just depends on what everybody else does. It's just a showdown. A regular slate, 40 out of Luka, no way you're pressing the X button. But on a showdown, you may still need Luka. He may still at 40 points be the second highest scoring player in this entire game. You just never know. So he's the curious spot. So with that being said, what are we doing, Captain, on DraftKings? Like, are we spinning up? Do we just take the shot on Luka that he's going to score 60 plus again and be the high scorer by 10, 15, maybe 20 points? Or do we go a different route and go cheap in the Captain and then try to jam in Luka and Curry and some studs in the utility? What do you think?
Here we go. I like the idea of going Jalen Brunson. I think if Luka's not going to have a big game, I think the most likely, Maverick to have a big game is going to be Jalen Brunson. Put in Brunson, then we put in maybe Spencer Dinwiddie in one of the util spots, and maybe we leave off Luka entirely. I mean, that's going to be, he's probably going to be like 85% owned combined between captain and utility spot. It's like if we fade Luka entirely, like we're already like, and if he has a mediocre game, he has like 35 fantasy points. Like, I think you could put like Brunson in the utility or Brunson in the captain spot, Dinwiddie in the utility, say those guys are getting a bunch of points, and then, see like who from Golden State fits in.
Okay. I like that idea. Brunson and Dinwiddie. And, if you're not playing Luka, there's probably a better than average correlation there that Dinwiddie is a guy you want in your lineup, and it just makes sense. There's a lot of different things that can happen there. So I like that aspect. I'm gonna plug in Brunson, Dinwiddie, and who did you say was next?
Well, we gotta pick some Golden State guys, and I think by far the standout value play is probably going to be Moses Moody. Seems to have taken the Damian Lee minutes in the last couple of games. And he's only $1,000. So I think if we put in Moody, I think we're already pretty different. I think Moody's going to be pretty highly owned. Like, I think he'll probably, push for like 40%, maybe even ownership. And I think we got him at like 43%. But I think if we're going with a mindset that we're going to fade Luka, then I think we can put in the Moses Moody, eat that chalk, and then see what else that gets us.
Be different, just because if people are playing Moses Moody they're playing Moses Moody to get to Luka easier. So Moses Moody plus Luka is going to be on the majority of those lineups that plays Moses Moody. So to fade Luka, I think we're going to be in rare company here. So 9,500 for 3 spots left. Let's fill out a couple more here. Looking at the Golden State, we got our salary saver, but we certainly don't expect Moses Moody to be like this massive players. So somebody's going to score for Golden State, our big fantasy points. Where do you see the big scores coming from Golden? It's been Curry. He's had a great series. Clay's been okay. Draymond's been very disappointing to me. Wiggins has been fantastic. Like, there's a lot of options here to go to. What are you seeing out of Golden State? What else can we plug in this lineup from that side?
Yeah, I think the first place I would look is Steph Curry. I mean, I think if we're using that Moody play, it kind of implies we at least somewhat need the salary. So I'd probably go with Steph Curry.
All right, we got a 2v2 right here. Brunson Dinwiddie versus Moody Curry on the other side there. So we got 4 spots. Plenty of money left for our last 2 spots. Let's do one more. I'm looking up and down, and I'm just, you know what? I'm just not super impressed with anybody else from this game, to be honest. Like, I know Luka. We don't have him in there. You could play Luka. And I talked about Wiggins, but Clay, a little bit inconsistent for me. Don't love Clay. I don't love Draymond. I could really see a thing where Draymond gets foul trouble tonight or technical trouble, and then he's like sitting on the bench early. Like, that's just kind of the player he is. Jordan Poole hasn't impressed me since the first round, really, when everybody kind of crowned him the next great thing. But, there's flaws in his game. And for the Dallas side, after the 2 guys we got and Luka, the rest of those guys have not been good at all. So give me another player to fill this thing out. I'm struggling here. If I was going to say anybody, I'd say Wiggins, but I don't know if he fits this particular build. You tell me.
So I think we're going to end up leaving some salary on the table. I think that's okay. What about like Kevon Looney? Because Otto Porter Jr.
He's been good. I missed
doubtful. Yeah, so I think maybe we go with Looney, and we're going to leave a bunch of salary on the table.
Yeah, I forgot about him. He has been good. Yeah, in fact, he had a performance there. I forget what, maybe game 2 where he was optimal, man. You had to have him. You absolutely had to have him. So 10-1, 1 spot left. That would leave you just about anybody on the table except for Luka, and we kind of didn't want to play Luka in this thing anyway. That would leave you anywhere. We're not going to fill it out, but you see where we're going here. Just for the sake of, if you're at this point in your build, are you going with another Golden State, or are you coming back with a Dallas player? Is it 3 versus 3 or 4-2?
I'd probably go with another Golden State guy. With Steph, already in there, I'm saying maybe he's getting a bunch of the points. Yeah, you go in a bunch of different directions. Like, I'd probably lean towards like Wiggins. Maybe Draymond, but I think you can go in any direction.
Yeah, basketball, not as much as football. Your showdowns, I really like to build around a particular game script. This is what's going to happen in the game, and this is why I'm going with these players in basketball. It's just a different sport. You kind of just want to get the best players in there. But there is a case to be made for a game script tonight in which Luka facilitates, so we get more Dallas role players in our lineup and running it back with some Golden State guys. And maybe this is the 1 Dallas victory by a pretty wide margin. Golden State takes it easy, and we get a lot of garbage time in the second half. So you can build it a bunch of different ways in that variety. But this is what we went with. Now let's go to Fanduel real quick because it's just slightly different. Now we got some different tiers here. We got MVP, Star, and Pro that are all going to be different. And there's no penalty for our salary. So it's always been different. Like, you almost have to nail 1 through 5 in order to hit the optimal here on FanDuel and to win the big tournaments. Like, it's a lot tougher to fade Luka over here is what I'm saying. So what do we think about Luka in this format?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you nailed it. Like, the lack of a salary multiplier makes it so much more difficult to fade Luka. I thought what happened last night in the FanDuel tournament was interesting because you rarely see a solo winner, but you did have a solo winner. And I think it was like Jason Tatum was like the highest projected MVP. And they actually had Tatum as the MVP. But they left, I think, 11,000 on the table, 11,000 in salary. And I think I like that strategy. I think there's some thought to, like, maybe you put in Luka at the MVP spot, but then you're just leaving a ton of salary on the table trying to be unique.
Okay, let's do it then. We'll go MVP, Luka, Star, second highest scoring player of the game, more or less, unless there's some crazy things, unless we can find some utility that we can do some different damage to. I don't know how. This is just, there's a lot of different ways we can go with it. The star position, like I got to think there's going to be a lot of Curry in this spot, Luka Curry. Maybe we get different and do something else here. I don't know. You tell me.
I like the idea of Jalen Brunson. Like
Again, okay.
yeah, say you need like Luka for the raw points, but it's really Brunson that's having like a standout game, and maybe this is the one game where Dallas just rolls.
I like it. I think a lot of people would shy away from that, thinking can't go Dallas 1-2 up top like that. But the truth is, if even Luka as a facilitator, can still outscore everybody in this game. So I don't mind that. All right. We got those two guys. The pro, don't tell me we're going to make it a clean sweep on Dallas here, 3 for 3. I think, or we're going to go with a final Golden State guy here.
Yeah, I think this is where it'd be really difficult to like go 1 through 3 with Dallas. I mean, that's almost implying a 40-point blowout or something like that. I would say like I think we're already with a build here where we're saying Dallas is winning, pretty handily. So I might go with like Draymond Green, and because he's going to be like the cheapest, I think, of the star Golden State players, and say this is a game where where Golden State's really just not putting up a ton of points, but like maybe Draymond's getting there with some steals and blocks, and those are the 3 points on FanDuel instead of a 2 on DraftKings.
Okay, I like that. We're gonna. We definitely going to be in the minority with a build that starts off like this, so we're good. So we got almost 10 grand left for 2 spots. We've talked on the other side about Moody, who's only 6K over here, but just based on the structure of the game, he's a lot less owned on FanDuel, even though he's like an absolute bargain chip over here. So we could go Moody and another stud in the utility, or 2 more, average it out a little bit more, 2 just decent players as opposed to star scrubs. What you're feeling on Moody over here?
I like Moody more for this particular build than I probably like him overall on FanDuel. Like this build we're saying where we got 2 Dallas guys up top. We're saying maybe Dallas is winning by a pretty good margin, and maybe Moody's seeing some extended fourth quarter run. So I like him a lot in this kind of build. We can put him in, and then we've got enough salary where we can leave a ton of salary on the table. And we're still getting different, but we've got a plausible narrative behind our lineup.
Yeah, I like the way this is shaping up. Just for the sake of filling it out, looking nice on the camera here. What do you think? Where do you think you go with that last spot? You go with another Dallas, or you come back with another Golden State? Man, I mean, if you went like Kevon Looney in this build and just had your 3 Dallas, your 3 Golden State, like non-scorer guys, just the guys who get down there, grit, hustle, defense, that would make a very interesting build that I actually think correlates.
Yeah, I think so too. And I think it's like you're not gonna see this lineup like heavily duplicated. One of those things where
duplicated hardly at all, unless the 150 guys maxing out, and it just happens to land on that. Because like if you're doing that by hand and you get down to that last spot, like that's Klay Thompson or Andrew Wiggins or Jordan Poole or a scorer, not another defensive guy. So I think we're definitely different with that one, man. I like the way that looks.
Yeah, we got Looney. I didn't realize on FanDuel Looney's 1,000 more than Klay Thompson.
That's gonna make him. Let me pull up the ownership. What we're projecting early. It can't be that great. That's no, that's not right. Less than a percent, nah. But I mean, it won't be high because of the reason you said. Yeah, listen, I'll pull that game log back up. He's been good this series. He's got minutes. They've needed him. All 3 games in the series good. That game 2, he was phenomenal. Couldn't cash without him. Another 30-point game last time out. They've gone to him a lot more than that so-called death lineup that they played in the first round. So I like it, man. I think we're in a good spot here. I think we talked through this. I think that's just about it, John. How you feel about that?
Yeah, I like that. I mean, Looney's going to be like 1% owned on FanDuel if he's more expensive than Klay and Draymond. So I like him. I like him as a really low owned piece. He's done well so far in the series, but it should be a good game. I mean, I'm kind of hoping Dallas can pull it out here. I mean, they're actually favored, so So they're expected to pull it out, but it'd be nice to have another game on Thursday.
Yeah, it's winding down to where if we get some series start to stop, we're going to be in, it's coming to an end is what I'm saying. But prizes are still out there, guys. So get in on those sites. There's just a ton of money still out there for these showdowns. So we appreciate you tuning in. This is actually going to be a video that I think is going to be run every day until basketball ends, is what I would guess, as long as they keep dropping those big prize pools, which they will. So appreciate you tuning in. Look for another video like this tomorrow and throughout the week. Until then, good luck in those GPPs for Squirrel. I was your host, Chop, and we're out of here.